Good morning, class.
Good morning, Mrs. Devilla.
Please be seated.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
How are you today?
We're fine, thank you.
Yesterday, we discussed about writing simple equations. We even solved numbers to complete the given equations. Now, who can tell me the meaning of an equation? Okay, yes, Tyron. Okay, equation uses equal symbol. Who else? Yes, Ernesto.
An equation is a mathematical sentence formed by placing an equal sign between two expressions.
Okay, that's right. Now, how did you solve for the equations? Yes, Shane?
We use it manually.
Okay, you solve it manually. What else? Yes, Liara.
We solve it manually.
Okay, you solve it mentally. But based on my observation, I noticed that some of other pupils were using gadgets like cell phones and calculator in solving equations. In relation to this, we will have a debate. The purpose of this debate is for you to express your ideas about the topic on using gadgets. Are we going to allow the pupils to use gadgets in solving equations? Okay, some have positive and negative answers. Now, our topic for today is the advantages and disadvantages of using gadgets in solving equations. And for today's moderator, may I call in John Paul Mendoza.
Once again, good morning everyone. The advantages and disadvantages of using gadgets in solving equations. What do you think is best for the pupils? Seated in the right are the representatives of the affirmative team. We have Ernesto Jaime, Aliyah Lorraine Ochigi, Genesis Marie, Rica Marie Balangatan, Rowena Cadavis, and Eliza May Marzun. Seated in the left are the representative of the negative team. We have Mark Kevin Apolinaria, John Dave Bangahon, Bertrand Teo Altiner, Julia Cassandra A. Atrejanio, Nike Lasala, and Liara Nicole Acuña. We have also our three judges, headed by our school principal, Mrs. Renata G. Miheka Julata, together with our subject teacher, Mrs. Esther B. Cultura, and Mr. Remedial and Huerta. Our timekeeper is Julius Fernandez, and our facilitator is Mrs. Azalea May H. Divilla. Each member of the team is given 1 minute to express their idea or opinion about the topic. And now, we shall begin. We will hear first the opinion of Ernesto from the affirmative team.
Good morning, everyone. We, the affirmative team, believe that there is an advantage of using gadgets like calculator in solving or completing equation and other math skills because we can solve easier, and it will also help us to be techno-savvy or knowledgeable of the usage of the gadgets for easier access in the different tasks.
The negative sides beg to disagree that using gadgets using gadgets solving the equations or other mathematical things would not help the pupils think critically. They would no longer to spend time to think for answers to the solutions. In other words, they could not answer without some gadgets. Using gadgets doesn't mean that you will not think for computing or solving answers using your mind. Of course, before you use the gadgets, you already have the knowledge on how to compute numbers since we're taught by our teachers and parents on how to compute mentally and even manually when we were still in primary.
Yes, you had a point, Alea, but let us remember, not all of us have cell phones and calculators to use every time we do the computations. Moreover, since we are in the lower grades, we are taught or not allowed to use gadgets. Since we are taught to work with our mind, mental computations and solving manually will help the pupils sharpen their mind. Besides, some people learn to cheat because of using those gadgets.
Our advantages of using gadgets is for us to get correct answers immediately. We can solve it, finish on time. I didn't think that we cheat because of using such as gadgets, but it will help us to get answers into hard problems or complex equations. In completing equations, as we think the best answer, and sometimes that some of the to be solved problems are you answer it mentally or manually. The more time will be wasted because some of the answers will not be answered due to limited time. Calculators or even Excel in the computer help people to solve big numbers.
We don't need gadgets in solving equations because gadgets are prone to health hazards and it will make us dull. We will become dependent on these gadgets. What if there's what if there's what if there's power interruption or the cell phones have low batteries? Even the calculators, do you think these gadgets could still perform the task? I don't think so. Better solve problems mentally or manually because it will improve our memories.
Yes, you have a point, but I don't think that it will make us dumb. Because if you don't use your mind, definitely you cannot learn to operate the gadgets which are in demand nowadays. Of course, you will not go to the battle if you are not prepared. We should fully charge the gadgets because it will be our aid to solve problems without any delay. My opinion of using some gadgets in solving the equation is wrong because it's not helping our mind to find the answers. Without the gadgets, we can solve the solution and it will enable us to decide what numbers would have the same value with the other set. Another thing, they believe that the gadgets are the easiest way to all math problems. Yes, they were right. Gadgets are the easiest way to all math problems, but they will not learn how to find the answers to the math problem.
For me, the advantages of using gadgets will make you more productive since you could easily think for numbers to be solved for the equations or problems. Solving without gadgets is time consuming. We cannot do other problems, especially if we deal about big numbers. Another thing, it's easier to think, especially to teachers in computing our grades. We always use gadgets to minimize stress.
In that matter, the disadvantages of using gadgets in solving equations are the pupils will not develop their skills in answering mathematical equations because they will depend on the gadgets that give the answers right away. And I think that they will not be confident to answer it on their own, since they believe that whatever they input on the gadgets
are always correct. Yes, you may solve the problem in mathematics without thinking deep by using gadgets. All you have to do is to operate, but not enhancing ideas from your brain.
We should put in mind that we will develop low self-confidence because of using gadgets. Even the workers who used to be smart in handling money matters still depend on gadgets. Spend,
Counter check. Counter.
counting matters rather than listing or computing manually. The architects and engineers use gadgets to determine the proportion of materials to be used in constructions. It's simply because it's hard to calculate them all in your mind.
You're right, Eliza, but let us not deviate from the topic. We just talk about completing equations or solving it inside the class. We don't use calculators for items which are easier to solve. Our thinking skills, if used often, definitely, we could easily perform or evaluate equations faster. You already hear the ideas of both teams, and now let us have the rebuttal.
The affirmative team still believe that the uses of the gadgets in solving or computing answers will have more advantages. We will be knowledgeable because of these gadgets such as computers, cell phones, and calculators. We will have an easier access to different tasks. It is not time consuming for it gives answers right away. We could still develop our thinking skills since we use our mind and want to compute.
We, the negative team, still oppose that using gadgets in solving mathematical equations will have more advantages. In fact, the pupils will be the gadgets will make the pupils depend on their answers right away without thinking or analyzing it. The pupils will easily share their answers. Pupils may be cheaters or may be called cheaters because of using it with whether it is not allowed or do not ask permission.
It's the end of our debate. And now let us hear the comments of the judges.
Okay, as I observe, as if you are all old enough to answer the debate. Both teams are prepared and has given their ideas, both the advantages and the disadvantages. So both the advantages and the disadvantages were presented very well. And I congratulate you for that.
Okay, good morning. Based from my observation, the two groups, the affirmative and the negative, were able to express their arguments in accordance with the proposition that is stipulated, which is the advantages and disadvantages of using gadgets. However, although you are still a neophyte in this field, still you were able to justify your arguments. So I congratulated you for that. And I just would like you to extend more time in doing research or having research so that you could provide comprehensive information. If possible, you could do research through internet in order for you to provide at least statistics or information that will prove that your arguments are based from the informations that are happening or based from situations that are currently happening. I guess that's all.
Okay, good morning, children. At a young age, I am congratulating you because you have presented brilliant ideas. Okay, let's clap for ourselves. Okay. Both teams are very effective in the presentation of their ideas. There's a friendly environment that is occurring between the two teams. So I congratulate you for that.
Thank you, judges, for the comments. This ends our activity this morning. I would like to thank the young debaters for participating in this activity as well as the rest of the pupils. I would like to also thank the judges, headed by our principal, Mrs. Ninita Jimmy Cajulata, ma'am, for supporting this activity. Hopefully that this debate will be used more often, not only in this subject, since it's our first time to use debate in mathematics. Hopefully, in other subjects, you will also practice this kind of strategy. Thank you, and God bless us all.